Too sweet!
Hi, welcome to JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood. That's Dwight Garfield. You can find our personal Twitters at the show's Twitter page, which is @_JD Sports. Getting into it this week, the playoffs are probably the biggest news, NBA-wise. But I do want to, before we get into and we'll kind of segue into the games itself here in a minute, Steph Curry being the first ever NBA player to be unanimously voted the MVP. Now,
it's pretty impressive.
I like that a lot. I do find it, I do want to point out two situations that should be recognized. Jordan in the 90s, it for some reason, and I don't mean to make this any kind of way, and this might even offend people, and I don't want to say this.
Oh, this is my favorite type of talk.
Old white people just don't like change. Like, they just can't handle, like something different, something, you know what I mean? So Michael Jordan should have been the unanimous MVP one year. Charles Barkley got 2 votes. Shouldn't have. It was Michael Jordan's best year. I think it was 94, 93? The year before he retired, if I'm not mistaken. But it was incredible, and he was the best player in the world. Like, it was hands down. He should have gotten it, right? Yep. And then LeBron, his last year with the Cavs, he should have won MVP for the regular season unanimously. 1 vote. It was one guy. It was a guy from Boston. It was the Boston beat writer, and it was just because of the Boston, going at it with LeBron so often at that point. That was the Paul Pierce, the Ray Allen years.
That's pathetic.
1,010% agree with you. It happens in baseball all the time. There was 2 candidates this year, and that just it happens all the time. Should have been unanimously. Derek Jeter should be unanimously voted into the Hall of Fame. He's not going to be because it's baseball writers that. Never been done before, never going to happen. And the reason it's never been done before is because people like you weren't doing it before. You know what I mean? Like Babe Ruth wasn't a unanimous Hall of Fame. There was only 2 votes against him. Well, not even 2 votes against him. They just voted for other people because they were like, well, whatever. It just for their stupid reasons. Like, you know what I mean? I can go on all day about that kind of stuff. So I'm happy. I'm so happy that Steph Curry won unanimous MVP because. Outside of him, we'll get into his amazing season and the reason why. But Wayne Gretzky in the late '80s, and then Tom Brady in 2010, I think, the only 2 other athletes in American sports to ever do that. So it's impressive. But if somebody would have told you in the finals last year, Dwight, finals are ending, Steph Curry's holding that trophy up. He just had an MVP season. He's kind of like the new, we used to think that it was going to be KD that took over. You know what I mean? We there's been a couple of people that we thought were going to be, hey, they're going to take over LeBron. You got Steph Curry. Everyone was saying last year, look, this guy, he has a possibility of taking the next step. If somebody would have told you that he would have taken not only the next step, but he would have leaped bounds. I mean, he would be the most improved player probably. Like, he went from great to greater, which is impressive because when you go from bad to good and you win the most improved player of the year, that's there's something to it. If you could, I'd give him the most improved player because he is that much better than he was last year.
That's insane.
He broke his own records, right? He's the greatest shooter of all time. We had that discussion last year. Obviously, we both feel that way. He broke his own records with 2 months to play in the season, shooting-wise. Most threes, most field goals, and he still did it with
scoring 6 more points a game.
I think he did it with the 3rd highest percentage that he's shot in his career, which is always impressive. Anyways, so for him to do what he did this season, it was off the charts, off the radar. He should have won MVP.
Yeah, definitely. There was no conversation as far as I'm concerned. We talked about it a couple times.
Yeah.
There was no debate. There was no conversation. And we said before that if you don't, we kind of threw some names around before, but if you weren't going with Steph 1, then there was a problem. There was a problem.
Every name we threw around, we knew it was for second place.
And I guess second was, a lot of people went Kawhi second.
Yeah, Kawhi could have won second.
Fantastic. Yeah. I'm
he
cool with
played great defensively and offensively this year.
But no, you had to give it to Steph. Steph,
yes,
he had a phenomenal year. And how do you do even better than you did when you won MVP, and then you not win it? You have to win it. And then you break the NBA single season record.
Yeah.
Unanimous. As much as it's like, oh man, that's impressive. I'm kind of not surprised because to me, this is the way it should have been. He should obviously have gotten the unanimous vote.
You said about his stats breaking that record. I'm pretty sure he broke that record the 2 previous years, which was his own record. So
yeah. He's breaking his own
records just over and over and over, and he's making it better and better. And this is the height of it. This has obviously been the best season he's had. This might, and I said it. I said it in a conversation the other day. This honestly, I wasn't old enough to really understand the Jordan years, so that year that he had that he should have won unanimously,
right.
I can't say that it's better than that year, and that LeBron year with the Cavs, that was the most impressive season I ever watched as a basketball player. This might be on top of it. I mean, I don't.
I have to.
It's very hard for me to sit down and really compare each and every one of them. Because Jordan and Steph Curry are doing it in a similar way where LeBron was doing it in a whole different way. So it's hard for me to compare the way that LeBron was doing it to either of them. More or less compare those two because, like I said, I don't have enough experience with the Jordan, with that Jordan season. But
right.
What Steph did this season is
beyond impressive.
If it's not the greatest season of all time, it's up there in the conversation with one of the greatest seasons of all time.
If he's not number one, he's
1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, I was gonna say top 3 easily.
It's incredible, and I mean. Segue though, because the reason that I think it's incredible, and this could kind of maybe spin us into a discussion about the Warriors. I think a lot of it has to have to do with Draymond Green, and I was one of the first people to be like, I didn't like that Golden State was getting rid of Jackson. I didn't see what another guy, anybody as good as Kerr could be. It didn't matter. I didn't see how it could change it. Right. He made one roster move. It was before they ever took regular season tip. It was, he took Bogut off the court and he put Draymond Green on the court for most of the game, and it worked. And I mean, it worked, and they were already winning, but they went and they doing it at a much better rate, and their best players are playing much better because of that one move that Kerr did. So obviously, it turns out to be the right move. I mean, at the time, I thought it was as bad as Lovie Smith getting fired after a 10-win season from Chicago. That was, to me, it was like I was baffled by both of them. Their situation, Golden State, works out because the guy they put in there literally made the roster move that has made Steph Curry into arguably the best player on the earth right now. I still would have to take LeBron personally, but
as far as I'm concerned, it's Steph Curry's league.
He's 2016 was Steph Curry's year, and you can't take that away from him unless he doesn't do it in the finals, but we'll have to get there when we get there.
We'll get there when we get there. Draymond Green, I mean, he's been playing incredible. Actually, a lot of people, he was kind of in the, he was in the voting process for MVP. Yeah. So the fact that they have 2 players
on their own team, and you can listen honestly. And if you took Clay's stats, put them on somebody else on a different team, you could probably throw that person's.
I was going to say
stats in
Clay's not in that conversation either.
He might be.
That's just a hell of a situation. But real quick, just to go back to Steph, there's been 3 point guards to win back-to-back MVPs. So he's in hell of
rarefied air. I mean, he's
up in the stars.
Back to back.
Magic Johnson.
Yep.
And one of my favorite players I've ever watched.
Yeah.
Steve Nash.
Yes, at 9 close. Great.
That's hell of a great company to be a part of.
Yeah.
So if you can't appreciate Steph's greatness for whatever reason at this point,
that'd be wild.
Something's wrong with you.
That'd be wild.
Something's wrong with you.
He's so fun to watch.
You can say LeBron's better, whatever. That's fine. But if you can't at least appreciate the way Steph has been just an absolute monster.
No, you know how I feel about the situation.
There's something wrong with you.
But I have no problem saying that Steph Curry had the much better season. I think that LeBron had an amazing season. I think that if you
he had a LeBron season.
It was and the unfortunate part of you saying that is that it's just kind of like whatever. When in reality, what he did was ridiculously impressive. It just wasn't what Steph Curry did this year. Steph Curry took it to a whole different level.
Dude, it might even get to a point 2-3 years from now where
we feel the same way about Steph.
Give it to somebody else.
I completely agree with that.
It's just the way the NBA works.
But
now.
the reason I brought up,
especially in this PC world now, we're not going to just give it to the same old, same old. This PC world now, we're like, well, let's give somebody else a cookie. Yeah. This is the way. It's just the way it works.
The reason I brought up Draymond Green is because he was making
he's going to get a cookie.
Well, no. While he was possibly, but while Steph was hurt, he put up 31 in the last game that they played in. When Steph came back, Steph getting 40 off the bench. We'll talk about that in a minute. But that was Draymond Green had I think 21 points. I think he had 7 rebounds. It was 7 assists, 9 rebounds, and I think 4 blocks. I mean, he just that is impressive stat line across the board. He's not even 7 foot tall, and he's dominating on the inside defensively. He can cover 1 through 5.
He's relatively small.
He
really
for being able to play center throughout an entire career if he wanted to. He's extremely small, but he can play 1 through 5. Well, defensively and offensively, you're gonna put him at the 4 or the 5. But either way, he's impressive. He's doing all these impressive things. It opens it up for Steph. Speaking of impressive, and I know it's an MVP is a regular season award, but it's really fitting that he won the MVP the night after he comes back from injury, comes off the bench. A really, really bad move by Sean Livingston to get himself kicked out of the game actually forced Steph to play more minutes throughout the entire game. Steph misses a shot at the end of regulation that would have won it, right?
That's fine. That's fine.
He single-handedly scored more points in overtime than the game played before that was in overtime, the Miami-Toronto game. Yeah, they combined for 15.
Steph Curry scored 17 points in overtime.
That's a 5-minute stretch.
17 points in overtime.
What's impressive is
off the bench.
What's impressive is the Blazers were actually only like 7 to 9 points behind him. Like they didn't get like his 17 points. As impressive as it was, he needed most of those 17 points to win that overtime. Still, that's crazy.
Right. I mean, good for
the Blazers. No,
good for them.
They're getting cookies at this point. No, there's Draymond Green.
Good for them for even being in that conversation.
Draymond Green after the game said that it's over.
Yeah. Well, how about that? Actually, I thought that was.
He was asked if he thought it was over, and he said, "Yeah, I think it's over."
I'm good with that.
Cool.
I say all the time, I'm good with talking smack, whatever. As long as you back it up. And up until this point, they've been backing up. Yeah, they lost the game. Whatever, it happens. But
it's also in the context. He was asked the question, "Do you think they are done?" And
he said, "Yeah."
And as an athlete, the way he followed it up was, "If I don't think they are done, who's going to think they are done?" So I'm sorry. Cool with the comment. We're totally cool with the comment.
We're the defending champs. I have a back-to-back MVP on my squad. I just came back and put up 40.
40 off the bench.
I'm a potential MVP.
He just scored 17 in the last 5 minutes, actually, of gameplay.
I have probably the coach of the year. Mm-hmm. I have all these factors. I have
Klay
probably
Thompson.
The best team, 1 through 10
Andre
in the
NBA. Floating around our locker room somewhere.
Gee,
Maurice Spates actually.
Am I going to question if we're
contributor to a team?
Come on now. It's done. The fact that Portland got 1 game is impressive.
It was impressive, and the fact that they were close.
They're not getting another one.
2 of the other games was impressive. I completely agree. I think it ends in.
Doesn't it go back to Golden State now?
Yeah, I think it ends in San Francisco.
At the time of this recording,
at the Oracle.
It'll be.
I think it's either Wednesday or
the following
Thursday
day.
Game.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's fine. Well. I guess at this rate, Steph would just get a little extra rest. Not like he needs it now if they win tomorrow or whatever day it is.
Speaking of, we're going to have to move on from the Warriors. As much as we could probably go on for months about their season.
I don't want to move away from greatness.
About Kerr, about all of it. But these will be, I think we should get into these discussions as a team, during the off season here. We'll have plenty of time to really dive into them.
We're going to have to talk about Dynasty at some point.
Yeah, I'm totally cool, but they have to win the championship this year to get there. So we'll see what happens. They're going to have to go through Oklahoma City or San Antonio. It's been an odd series. The first 4 games is what we'll cover because we don't know what's going to happen after that as the time of this recording.
Yeah, we got Game 5 going on tonight, so I mean, and by the time this gets uploaded,
by the time it goes through.
So bear with us, folks. The first 4 games.
The first game was a blowout, and then the other 3 have been close games. 2 of those 3 games, though, have been mismanaged in the last 5 minutes of the game by the Spurs, which is so uncharacteristic. KD also is a big portion of both of them. The Game 4 game is the biggest one. That was an impressive game on Mother's Day. The way he shot the ball. Westbrook understood he had to defer a little more. He had to give the ball up.
That's big coming from him.
That 10 for 31 on Friday night before, it affected them. It hurt them, and Durant should have got the ball more down the stretch. He got the ball the entire 4th quarter in the next game.
It's impressive that he actually said that just because of his history of being just this me guy. We've seen his assist numbers have gone up every single year. Yeah. He is more of a team guy or whatever, and he's distributing a lot more. And he owned up to it, and to their credit, they came back and won.
Yeah.
So You can't fault that. Now, as of this recording, what we're talking about, they're tied 2-2.
Yep.
So, which direction are you going? Because I'm sticking with San Antonio. I still feel like they are the team to inevitably face Golden State in the conference finals. There's something about OKC. They're just. I can't say that they're unproven, but they're
relying on two players.
They're unreliable.
They run completely through two players.
Yeah, and too much.
If one of them has a bad night, they can still be in games, but they didn't win the game. You need both of them to be playing at their full force, and you need contribution from other players, which I don't see them getting enough of.
It's not like if you look at every other team in the playoffs, well, mostly. You would say there's more than one or two options.
Yeah.
Look at Golden State. Yeah. Look at San Antonio, Cleveland.
Yeah. You have more than two options. The teams that people think that are going to be championship teams. Yes, they can go in a bunch of different directions, not just two. And literally just those two, because that's the issue is that they score 75 to 80% of their points sometimes. You're not going to win many basketball games in the playoffs that way. You'll win a lot.
This is a video game. You can't be doing that.
But the reason I would also go with San Antonio is because I brought up that they had mismanagement in the last 5 minutes of in their two losses. That's very uncharacteristic of them. I think Popovich turns that around. I think if it's a close game in the fourth, in any of the rest of these games, San Antonio is going to be the lockdown team. They're going to be the cool, calm, collected team that you're used to seeing, and it's going to be all good. Kawhi, somebody will take over down the stretch the way Kawhi did on that Friday night as well, because in the last 5 minutes of that game, they did everything right. So, it goes both ways, and I think that the rest of the series, it's still going to fall on San Antonio.
The only thing I don't want to see as far as San Antonio is concerned, we can't be seeing Tim Duncan going with 4 fouls midway through the second quarter.
No points in one of the games?
Dude, he had 4 fouls midway through the second. 0 points, 0 rebounds, nothing. Father Time seemingly has punched him in the mouth.
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was still a couple of weeks away.
You still, yeah, right. To me,
he went from the Monstars just took his powers.
We're not talking about Space Jam right now today. We're talking about it another time.
He'd be a perfect candidate for that movie one day.
At this point, yeah.
Next.
He has no personality. Anyway, no, he can't be on Space Jam. He has no personality. That doesn't work for movies.
Yeah, but I mean that's.
And now Pop doesn't see that. That's funny.
Pop would be good in that movie.
That would be hilarious.
All right, we'll talk about.
Anyway, we'll talk about Tim Duncan. But to me, he's still a presence. Like he can still be at least a defensive presence.
He's there.
Put your hands up.
He's Tim Duncan.
Right.
You can do something.
You don't have to put up. I don't even have to see points or rebounds. You're a presence.
Yeah.
So don't put 4 fouls on the board.
That quick.
5 minutes into the second quarter. Ugh. It's not pretty.
I don't see him doing that the rest of the series. I don't see them doing that the rest of the series. I see them pulling it out. You said you still like them as well, so we will see.
The pull-out game is going to be strong.
Another series that is 2-2. A team that you passionately... You talk about how not good you think this team is pretty openly. Toronto and Miami.
Oh, for the love of God. I mean, yeah.
You got a beef with Lowry and DeRozan.
Because they suck.
They haven't done anything all that impressive, except Lowry did score 40 on a Saturday.
What do you do in the next game?
Yeah, not that well.
Like 10 points?
Yeah, the rest, yeah.
And then he fouled out.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto's a situation, I don't even know if I've said it on the show, but I've just said it in general, but I'm going to say it again. If I haven't said it here, whatever. They're a team that is just overachieving, and it kind of sickens me because I feel like, okay, well, put them in the Western Conference, for example. What seed are they? Maybe 7th, 8th?
Yeah.
6th, 7th, 8th?
I agree.
I feel like they're in a weak conference. They're just overachieving. They do well in the regular season. That's fine and dandy. But they're like, I don't know, the Braves. They just don't do anything come playoff time. And they kind of choke up. Look at the previous series against Indiana. When is the last time in the NBA have you seen a 1 seed, or excuse me, a 2 seed, big difference, a 2 seed and a 7 seed go 7 games in the first round? What? That just doesn't happen. And in reality, the 7 seed should have won.
Well, the other times it happened in recent years, it was actually Toronto.
That's ironic because to me they are a 7 seed because they
No, they were 2 seeds. when it happened. They were a 2 seed last year.
Well, regardless, they should be a 7
and the
seed.
year before they lost Game 7 to Brooklyn as well.
I just can't buy into their legitimacy as a playoff contender.
Yeah.
As a threat. Who the hell wants to see, other than Drake and people in Canada, who wants to see the Raptors versus the Cavaliers? Go ahead, I'll wait. Nobody wants to see that.
Everybody's rooting for Miami and Cleveland, I do think.
Everybody wants to see that. Why? Because there's a story there. And to me, I think also, if you even put that on the side, Miami's obviously a better team. Granted, they've kind of had their struggles a little bit here as of late, but I still think that they're going to pull out. I still will stick with them. And moving forward, I think hopefully, I really hope that they win, because I think that will be such a fun story and a fun matchup to see them competing.
Well, let me say it to you this way. I'm also rooting for that storyline because I want to see
Dwayne Wade.
Yeah, and I want to see LeBron have to take on a challenge like that, and it will re-energize him going into the finals. It will give him it will give him an emotional challenge, if not anything. And you know what I mean? That's a basis of a start. I want to see a fuel. I want to see some fire, which he has shown in the playoffs, and we'll get to them here in a minute. But
occasionally.
But
Dwayne Wade,
I think Toronto's going to win the series.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I keep saying Dwayne Wade. Why? Because he's showing everybody that people have forgotten who he is. People have forgotten that Dwayne Wade
what he has done has been incredible. He's been what he did.
He's looking like a man among boys, literally.
His layup with 12 seconds to go in that game was
playing with him.
Even in the loss, in the Game 3 loss, he put up a 3 at the end of that game in the corner that was just it just missed. It just missed.
Yeah.
But it was
he laughed about it.
But I mean, the shot was close. He put it up. It was vintage D Wade. It was like I'm with you. The things that he is doing, and he's putting the team on his back, and he's looking like the D Wade that carried a team before LeBron got there. People were like, well, he's gonna be too old at this point in his career. Now that LeBron's gone, and he's still carrying the franchise. He's still putting the whole thing on his back and doing what he's doing. So it shows you just how valuable. Yeah, well,
I think he wants
a shot at LeBron.
He wants LeBron. I think he's gonna get it.
I don't think that he'll beat LeBron, but
we'll have that conversation if we get there.
Yeah, if we get there. Like I said, I think Toronto's going to win the series, but both big men are out, and if Whiteside does come back from the series, then I do think that is the game changer, and I think if Whiteside comes back, Toronto won't have an answer because their big man is also out, Valencia. So, speaking of the Cavs and LeBron, 8-0, let me hit you with a stat that might impress you, but probably not because you don't like LeBron. The Cavaliers are 12-0 when the big three are together in the playoffs. Including last year.
That's what's up.
That's impressive. I mean, moving forward, they're going to have to face tougher challenges, but...
Yeah, I mean...
That's incredible.
We can talk about that next round and then the finals.
Yeah.
If they get there.
Yeah.
But the first 2 rounds, honestly, it doesn't mean anything to me.
But 12-0 when all 3 of them are healthy in playoff games, including last year, that's crazy.
You're doing what you're supposed to do. You're beating the teams that you're supposed to beat, and you're sweeping them. Fair enough. I won't take that away from them, but... That doesn't. I mean, as impressive as that is, I want to see you compete against somebody that's going to fight with you. Yeah. Because when you did do that against Golden State, granted you didn't have everybody, you lost. So now that you have everybody, okay, now let's see what you do.
Yeah, I think they're playing at the height that they've been playing as the 3 of them together, like dating back to the beginning of. If you take it from day one, I think the last 2 months of the season this year, they really showed that they were finally clicking the way that you want them to. It didn't happen as fast as it happened in Miami for LeBron, but I do think that these 3 are starting to respect each other on the court more and understand how to play with each other. And K Love seems like he's starting to get comfortable taking shots from the corner. Just standing there taking threes, which he was having a problem with in the first year and a half of this process. Kyrie seems like he's understanding, when to not take just throw out bad shots anymore, be an actual point guard. But he also can defer to LeBron and let LeBron do his thing, which it seemed like there was a struggle there. And then the rest of them, LeBron put a bunch of, he is the GM. He put a bunch of 3-point shooters around him for this exact reason, because he's scared. Because
they're turning it into a national 3-point association.
Yeah.
This is getting ridiculous.
And it's going to be probably them versus the Warriors in the finals. That's all it would be.
Okay, first of all, if it comes down to them facing the Warriors in the finals, I still don't buy into Cleveland as a 3-point threat. They've gotten better with each series with their threes. I won't take that away from them.
I buy into that they're a threat. I mean,
they're a 3-point threat? against Golden State, you think that they can outshoot Golden State for 4 games?
No, I don't think they can outshoot Golden State.
That's what I'm saying.
I still think that they are a 3-point threat, and I think that it would be something that. I mean, let me hit you with this. And no, I don't care if you're playing they're playing an NBA team in these 4 games. In a 7-game series last year, the record was broken by Atlanta. They hit 79 threes. They did that in 7 games.
Yeah.
The Cavs just did 77 threes in 4 games. I mean that's real. Like Golden State hasn't even hit 75 in a series ever. Now, granted, they haven't played a 7-game series, but they have played 4-game series and they didn't hit what the Cavaliers just hit. So it doesn't matter. There was somebody in there. There was somebody on the other side of the court trying to stop them from doing that. That would mean they're a threat. I mean
I don't really buy it.
I think it'd be something to worry about. That the fact that they can shoot the 3. You know, you don't have to now you don't have to force LeBron to take bad jumpers, even though he still takes a couple bad jumpers. You don't have to force him to take those bad jumpers that sometimes he would make, sometimes he would miss. Now you're not scared of him taking those jumpers. You're scared of everybody else taking those jumpers. And that's what's opened up his inside game, and that's what has made them 8-0. Because down the stretch, I mean, in the 4th quarter against Detroit, he scored every point for them at one point this year. I mean, he's having the kind of playoffs that he seems to be always having, taking it to that next level. This is fun LeBron. I mean, this is the whole reason. This is my favorite time to watch LeBron. He's playing at excel rate. If they can keep hitting threes the way they are, I think that they would be able to at least stay a step behind Golden State, and then you would just have to hope LeBron can get that extra will, whatever he did last year. You'd have to basically get that again still probably, but different conversation for a different day.
Completely different situation.
But the way they're shooting threes, you don't buy them as a three point team?
No, I can't buy into nobody playing defense from Detroit or Toronto. Detroit or who's the other team?
Atlanta.
When you're not playing any type of defense, then no, I just can't. Yeah, is it impressive? Yeah. Do they deserve credit? Sure. Do I buy that they can do that and still stick to a Golden State shooting team? Hell no.
Let me try to put it to you
I need
this
to
way.
see it against a legitimate team.
If the Blazers
for 4 games.
If the Blazers in Atlanta played in a series, how long would that series do you think last?
If the Blazers in Atlanta played
played in a 7-game series.
I don't know. 5?
You think the Blazers would just run them right out of the building?
I'd said 5. I'd give them 1.
No, I don't. I think it would be more close. See, you're the first person to answer that way. Everybody else I talked to said it would probably be 6, maybe 7-game series. Probably a 6-game series though.
Maybe 6.
But my point is like they're still doing against a team that would probably compare. I think that would win a couple games against a team that what I mean. Like Golden State doesn't look any more impressive or any less impressive behind the arc against the Blazers than the Cavs just did, and that's what I'm trying to show you comparison wise. I think you're looking at comparable teams here to compare them against.
Here's the thing, because
especially defensively,
Golden State has longevity with their 3-point history, and Cleveland has done it for 2 series.
Cleveland has only had a bunch of shooters with what I mean,
and they were shooting kind of miserably. Before
they decided to get rid of everything called a big man this season and start to do this. They shot a really high percentage of threes during the regular season, not at the rate that they're shooting it now.
No.
But
they've gotten better. I'm just looking at longevity on top of the matchups.
That could be your boy Tyronn Lue's strategy, though, saying, "Hey,
we're
not going to be shooting a bunch of threes during the regular season because we want to unleash this weapon in the playoffs." I mean,
that's cute. I don't buy it.
Richard Jefferson's getting a lot more playing time in the playoffs, which is really odd, right? Do you think that's odd?
That's a secret answer.
We joked for a while that we thought that was a secret answer. It's starting to look a little too realistic to me.
I mean, carry Jason Kidd is only fitting that he carries LeBron.
Ooh.
Jokes. Except the LeBron one.
So.
Hi, LBJ.
He drives a Kia.
No, he doesn't.
Richard Jefferson says he drives a Kia.
Richard Jefferson wouldn't know because he has plenty of time to sit on that bench and watch him drive that Kia.
He's sitting on the bench in the playoffs. That's what I'm saying. Hey, speaking of not sitting on the bench, Amir Khan was actually just laying on his back this weekend. We watched that fight. That was awesome.
Good night. Good night. And what do we say the entire fight? It went 6 rounds, and what do we say every single minute of every single round?
The announcer was just going on and on and on to Dwight and I, right? Because we felt like he was speaking to us individually, saying, Canelo needs to back off. He needs to not keep going for the home run punch. He needs to play more defense. He needs to start boxing him a little more.
That's not Canelo. Excuse me? And what do we say?
We looked at each other and we said, all he needs to do is connect on one.
Just one.
What are you talking about?
And what did he do?
We weren't even halfway through the match. We weren't even halfway through the rounds. There's 12 rounds. We weren't even halfway through. We were like, until you get pretty deep into this, there's really no reason to stop swinging for the fences because all you need to do is connect on one. He connected on one.
And what happened? The ref didn't get to count to 5, and he was.
I mean, the ref got 1, 2, 3. All right,
I think he got to 3.
I'm not gonna waste my breath getting to 10 because he's not getting up.
He was out.
That's what the ref basically looked at. He looked at Canelo like, yeah, you want the belt now or like in 10 minutes when they hand it to me because he's not getting up. He's just not.
Khan was doing what he was supposed to do, and he was playing towards the strike. He's quick.
He did well.
He's quick. He'll get his jabs in. He'll run. He'll get his jabs in his run. And run. What did Canelo do? He did exactly what he always does. So I don't know what that announcer was talking about really. Canelo, he stayed in the middle of the mat. He kept himself in the middle, and it was Khan. It was run around the ring, and we kept saying all. Canelo needs to do is connect one. Yeah, he was missing a lot because Khan's kind of fast, and
Canelo's power to knock you out. I mean,
Canelo's power. He's a little slower. Right.
He does what Mike Tyson wanted to do.
He wants to get in toe-to-toe and box you.
Yep.
And what happened? He caught him one time, and that was it. It was a wrap. It was kind of funny, actually.
The memes of Khan on his back. I feel so bad for him that it happened in 2016 because that happened all the time in the 90s to fighters and this
all the time.
They didn't really get clowned out for it.
No, now it's just bad.
Now it's like you step in the ring and you be a man about getting knocked out. You're gonna get clowned for it, unfortunately. So
he got hit on top of getting hit and getting knocked out. He got hit. Dropped and then his head bounced off and he looked. I straight up said he's dead.
Yeah. His body just literally gave out. I mean that's what it looked like when he took that shot across the jaw. So, but
good night.
The reason I wanted to bring this up because I wanted to cover the fight and that was an impressive fight.
Definitely.
But there was a guy sitting front row that we both appreciate, that we both like.
Let's go.
He also ended up in the ring afterwards.
Let's go.
Canelo kind of talked shit on him, but I think it was more of like a, hey, I just want everyone to know I'm
apparently
serious.
Canelo said he invited him into the ring.
Yeah, he did. But then he kind of did, he kind of talked a little shit on him at the end there in the interview.
Let's go.
But I think it was to try to get Triple G's, hey, Triple G.
Dude.
Let's do this.
Dude.
I said it.
Dude.
I said it that night to you. The Floyd Mayweather fight, right? No. The versus Manny Pacquiao. The hype on that was crazy. It was big. Everybody wanted it to be, splash, fireworks, this, that, the next thing.
That's for the casuals that don't really pay attention.
But I kept saying before that fight that, yes, I was hoping that Floyd did something a little different, spectacular, but for the most part, I kind of figured it would be a strategical fight from both fighters, considering they both fight strategically. Everybody just wanted two Tysons running in the ring trying to knock each other out. Well, that's what you're going to get here. If you want to watch a fight where it's just two guys trying to knock each other out, like literally, you're not watching boxing, you're just going to watch two guys trying to knock each other out. That's what these two do. Their entire thing, there's little defense, there's not a lot of movement, and they're swinging for the fences.
They can take a punch.
Every time. And they can both take punches. That's what's going to make this fun, is that it's just going to be Tyson versus Tyson in that ring.
Man. This fight, if it's there's talks. I mean, even Oscar De La Hoya came out and he was like,
they're trying to slow the roll on it here.
Well, he came out. He was saying, answer your phone tomorrow, Triple G. Supposedly he's This was after the fight went down. He tweeted. Oscar said, answer your phone tomorrow. We'll see. Still a lot of what ifs, but they're leaning towards trying to get this in the fall. There's still a lot. The WBC is a fucking joke. That's why boxing is in the shape that it's in.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
They're not like the UFC with Dana White, where he's like, okay, the fans want to see you versus who you're doing it in a month.
Choice, yeah.
It's not like that. Boxing's more, we'll call you in 10 years to see how it goes.
Canelo just went through a fight, so they're going to give him a couple months.
Well, yeah, absolutely, and it would be at least till the fall. And dude,
that's cool. That's perfect.
That is the type of fight that it's not for the casual fans that want to see Pacquiao versus Mayweather. Right. Yeah, I love Mayweather. I want to see him fight. Yeah. And Pacquiao's a name. I want to see. No,
they didn't understand that was going to be a strategical, boxing, weaving, moving around, sting like a butterfly. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee type thing. This is literally just.
This is for.
Let's throw some rocks at each other and see who gets hurt worse.
This is for fighting fans, for boxing fans. Yeah. Triple G versus Canelo would just be a straight out brawl. Like you said, you keep saying two Tysons. A lot of people, I've seen diehard boxing fans saying that this will be as big as like Frazier versus Jesus Christ, I almost said Holyfield. Frazier versus this would be like a Frazier versus Ali. This would just be or Joe Louis. This would just be of that magnitude.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you compare all the fights over the past 20 years, I mean,
these two are going to be.
This would definitely be.
It's going to be the fight
over the past 20 years.
I agree,
hands down. I mean, to go back to the Frazier days or the George Foreman days, or of that era, to put in that equation already, that's pretty impressive. But I think it would live up to it. And
the competition level in this fight is going to be incredible.
As a boxing fan, as a person that loves to see dudes just beat the hell out of each other, I hope to God that this goes down.
Oh, me too. I
am going to be the first person to order this fight.
I hope we get this fight. I hope we get a rematch, and I hope they split the two so we get a third. Yeah. That's how much I want this to happen.
I was kind of already thinking that. I was like, man, there would at least be a rematch, and then if they split, there would obviously be the third.
That would be great for everybody. For everybody.
Two grown men that don't back down. They don't back down from challenges. They love to fight. They love to beat the hell out of you. They like to knock you the hell out.
They're also the two best in their class right now.
Absolutely.
So that's also the competitive part of this is fantastic.
Let's go. Somebody's gonna get knocked the hell out.
Yeah, and both of them might at some point.
Oh my God.
It's gonna be incredible, but I'm excited for it.
Absolutely.
So we don't have a lot of NFL news. A little bit of NFL news. Kind of a little just. I'm not the ha-ha, I kind of told you so, and there's plenty of time left, so I'm not going to be the ha-ha, I kind of told you so. But Sam Bradford looks like he's still going to be Eagle week 1, yes?
Yeah, because he caved in.
No, because the Eagles didn't cave in. Because
I said, and he caved in.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice. It was either retire.
He could have kept fighting if he was a grown man and wasn't a punk about it.
Yeah, but the Eagles were never going to do that.
He stood his ground for, 3 weeks?
Because I think he watched JD Sports, and I think he listened to what I was trying to say when I was trying to tell him, there's really no options. I mean, there was the Eagles just weren't going to budge. There was no reason to for them. It left them in no good position to get rid of Sam Bradford. So the only way that it would have worked out for everybody, if Sam Bradford didn't really want to be an Eagle, is to just retire, because the Eagles were just never going to get rid of him. It just wasn't going to happen. He decided, as of Monday morning, he wanted to show up to the off-season workouts, the voluntary off-season workouts, and he also wants to be committed to being the starter this year and see how many they can get.
All I want to say, because I don't want this to go on, right? Because we touched so much
talked
base
about
on
it a lot. Yeah,
I was kind of just disappointed from the fact that just how he came about and he said the statement of how I want to be here with my team, with my guys, and I'm all in. When he made that bullshit statement after a week ago and for a month, you were talking about I'm not doing it, doing it, and then to come back and say I'm here for them. Come on, dude. It came across as soft. You caved in and you punked out. Whatever. Okay, now moving forward, go ahead. Go be the starter. Fine. Whatever. I still think it's ridiculous from the standpoint that you kind of made a stand and then you moonwalked out of it. Yeah. So that's ridiculous to me. I don't respect that. But whatever. Go do you. At least hold out a little longer. See if they would cave in by the summer. I don't know. That's not even a summer. That's what's hilarious.
I think though
it's like you're protesting for it's like you're outside protesting. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. 2 weeks later, yes, we're good.
But you saw how I got a little bit kind of edgy about him last week. I said, I thought he should be a little more, I thought he was throwing a tantrum. I thought he was throwing a fit.
And now it looks like he was just doing that.
But my thought is that at the end of it, he looked at it and he thought, man, if I really don't have any other options, I got to fix this in the locker room well before training camp starts, because I can't go into training camp right before the season with these relationships not intact and not well, because I have no chance outside of Philadelphia at the moment because they are not going to get rid of me, and I have to play well to get a contract somewhere else. So it basically was a catch-22 where I think that his agent kind of sat him down, or somebody did, and was like, look, you don't have a choice here. You're going to have to figure this out. So part of me thinks he went in there for, that part of it. He wants to go do this with the guys. Part of me as an Eagles fan hopes that the Eagles players sit there and they say, look, I understand why the Eagles did it, and I understand why you did this, Sam Bradford, because as a player, they probably do kind of understand where he was coming from. They're probably looking at him like, hey, there's going to be ways you can get our trust back, but I'm hoping as a fan that there is a way for him to get their trust back, because I would like to see them, maybe win a couple games this year, not end up at the bottom of the barrel, having commotion and all this issue, because this is what was supposed to happen when everything calmed down. There was supposed to be Sam Bradford as this year's quarterback and Carson Wentz as the backup and Chase McDaniel somewhere right in the middle. I mean, this is how it was supposed to play out, and I'm happy that, going into training camp, there's a potential that this could be flying on the radar, and it can be playing out that way. We'll see, though. There's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of time between now and then. A lot of time between now and then.
There's too much time. That's just why I'm disappointed. I'm just gonna stick with that. But whatever, it is what it is. He caved in. Good for him.
I should have made a bunch of bets.
He's a company guy now.
I should have made a bunch of bets because not just on the show. I had so many people telling me I was crazy for thinking that he would at least be on, on the Eagles roster. I kept saying.
I thought they were going to get rid of him, but I didn't realize he was a punk that did stand his ground. So.
I thought at that point that
mistake.
I thought at that point he was going to be RG3 and it's standing there in a t-shirt with the headset on. I do think now there's a decent chance that he's wearing shoulder pads and Eagles helmet and he's starting week 1. But we'll see. Like you said, there's a lot of time between now and then. It could be something. It could be either of those or something in the middle.
Or by the time football. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
You realize that by the time football starts is when we will be talking about this Triple G versus Canelo fight. Yeah. That's how long we got from
But
that.
I don't think it's all that long because we have
basketball.
basketball.
It's a long time.
We have basketball to entertain us, and
well, I know, but I mean NFL was.
I know, but we have MLB in between as well. The
we want to take a hiatus for that.
We're definitely going to be talking about Stroudsburg. We'll talk about
We're going to talk about a hiatus for the show.
I like what's going on in baseball. I think
you
baseball
do a
is very
solo
interesting.
show.
Oh dang!
It's going to be the J show.
Still gonna have to use your spot.
I don't think we can use that name.
JD Sports. We still call it JD Sports. It was spot solo.
No, there was a joke there. Get it, because Jay. Roger Goodell might fire you. Yeah. Well, if we're not talking about him, we good.
He'll get over it.
Speaking of getting fired, so I hear ESPN's got some openings.
Who else? Who was the latest?
Dude, you ain't here?
No.
I'm saying, if you want to call somebody, they got rid of 2 more people. Chris Carter and Ray Allen. No word as to why.
Ray Lewis.
Yeah, Ray Allen.
I didn't know that.
Ray Lewis and Chris Carter.
I didn't know they got rid of Ray Lewis.
No word as to why as of this morning, because I just want to see the reason. It kind of everybody's joking online. They were like, "Well, was one of them to fall out for the other?"
Yeah, were they partying together or something?
I don't.
That would be the only thing I could think of. Chris Carter's kind of out of me. I know that Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis just started.
I thought that Ray Lewis was doing okay.
He got better.
I know a lot of people didn't like him. I know a lot of people didn't think his analyst was all that good.
He just started.
Yeah, I was cool with the Ray Lewis. He's a great. I think that. If you listen to some of his points, yeah, I understand what people are saying, but there was times where he was more than that. Like, he was over the top, like, exactly what you needed to hear in that situation.
I thought passionate.
I always think that Chris Carter is good. I thought that he was good all the time. I mean,
yeah,
I thought
he has way too much knowledge in him.
NFL,
He can talk other sports, too. Yeah, like a lot of these people they bring in. I can listen to him talk about basketball, and he can do it.
Fox Sports gaining some more talent?
That or I figure NFL Network's going to get one of them, maybe.
Yeah, that's very true.
Fox Sports,
NBC,
NFL Network.
NBC, somebody will scoop them up.
ESPN's getting cheap. I mean, they had Mike Miller on Mike and Mike doing some analysis, and I'm like, just like, for the love of God, I had to mute it. Oh, wow. Like, really? Mike Miller?
They're just getting free labor because they're probably not paying him to do it.
Yeah, you said free labor. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if ESPN needs some internships.
Speaking of, not to just turn this into an I'm just saying, but I'm just saying, NFL, the Super Bowl is in Houston this year. They are looking for 10,000 volunteers. They're looking for volunteers. You're a $1 trillion company, and you're telling me you want volunteers to be hosting your biggest party of the year? You can't even pay some people $12 an hour? You can't go get one step above volunteers? You can't get some people who do this for a living. You can't pay some people $12, $15 an hour. You are a $1 trillion company. This is the biggest event of the year. For Super Bowl week, they are looking for 10,000 people. Volunteers. So for you, on your own time, Dwight,
did they want media coverage? We can go there.
I don't think it's media. I think it's handing out food, T-shirts. I don't even think you get in the building. I think it's just stuff around the building all week, doing the NFL Fan Fest, that kind of stuff.
Well,
running food trucks, things like that. Just to be part of it for the week.
What about the people that are already working there? Can they just do it?
Well, see, no, the stadium itself, the workers in the stadium themselves will still be working in the stadium. I'm like outside. They just
want an additional 10,000.
Outside of the stadium, they do like they do like food trucks. They do tents. They do like on the week before. I think the Wednesday before is when the week they call it Super Bowl week and a half or something like that. Whatever the big name is for it. They have like a fan zone. They have where. It's just a zoo down there apparently for an entire week in the parking lot of the stadium. And then the Saturday night before is when they clear it all out and they move it into the city a little more. And then Sunday, the game itself, the parking lot's for parking. But then I guess they still have stuff for the volunteers for half of these 10,000 to do stuff.
That's a
but
lot of people.
Why can't you pay 10,000 people? What do you mean? I would like to see this event done the right way, not just by people just showing up.
Because they know people would just want to work because it's a Super
Well,
Bowl.
again, free labor. That's my point. Stop being cheap, ESPN. Stop being cheap, NFL. I'm just saying.
And we're also just saying that
We're cheap. We're cheap labor. You gotta pay us, but we're cheap compared to what y'all are paying. Both you, NFL and ESPN, whoever wants to go.
You can pay us a quarter of what you're paying Mike Miller for his analysis.
Unless he's working for free, then you're gonna pay me more.
God, I was listening to him. I know he's new to this, but I had to mute him. Like I said, it was just, and I don't. Usually, I at least give new people
chance.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, let's listen. I might have given him a thought, and I was just like mute. I can't do it. Like he's just too raw. It just seems like ESPN's getting cheap.
That was a good impromptu. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying we're looking for jobs. I mean, if anybody wants to be cheap, I'm sure we can talk about that because I'm sure it'll be more what we're making now. So
yeah, talk sports all day.
I mean, we're not making anything.
I'll do it 7 days a week.
And then they'll produce it on top of that.
Yeah,
that'll be fantastic.
I'll learn how to help them a little bit.
No, they can produce it. We ain't got to learn how to do that.
Oh.
Yeah, right. They might try to censor us though. That's the only problem. I don't know if I can be censored. If the price is right, I can be censored.
Yeah, I'll be censored. I'm not gonna even argue that I can be censored.
Not like it? Yeah. No, that wasn't a bad call. Good call, Russ. I love Roger Goodell. He's the best.
Thank you for watching. That was JD Sports. I'm Jarrett Hood. That's Dwight Garfield.
Peace.